Welcome to Clip Creep. Today we will be looking at 10 terrifying stories that'll make you never want to stay home alone again. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button and leave a comment with what you want to see next. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Rumble so you never miss a video. Now, let's begin. Home alone, or are you? When I was younger, I spent the day helping a neighbor rake leaves on his property. He was friendly with my family, so he walked me home to say hi to my parents. We walked into the house and heard my mom upstairs talking. It sounded like she was on the phone and walking around. I called for my dad, no answer. My neighbor says, "Well, it sounds like your mom is on the phone, I'll catch them another time." We say goodbye and he leaves. I go upstairs to see my mom, but I can't seem to find her or hear her anymore. I search the house and it's empty. I'm thinking, did she leave the house while I was saying goodbye to the neighbor somehow? I call my dad's cell and ask him where he is, and if he knows where mom went. We're at the store, we've been running errands for a couple of hours. Instant goosebumps. My neighbor and I both heard footsteps upstairs and a woman's voice. No idea who or what it was, but we both heard it. I waited outside until my parents got home. Fame has its downsides. Our street is almost 200 years old, and very picturesque, so it attracts tourists in our city. There have been more than a few times where I've come upstairs from the garden-level living room to the street-level first floor to find that if I haven't closed the curtains, tourists will be peeking in, trying to see what the interior looks like. It's annoying and kinda creepy, but I'm used to it. One night I came upstairs to go to bed to find some guy standing in front of our window. Our windows are the original casings, so they've got heavy wooden interior shutters we close at night. I closed one side. I went to do the other and he just gave me this furious look. Like his face just twisted into so much anger that it stopped me in my tracks. We stared each other down for a few moments before he gave me this big, creepy, leering smile and walked slowly down the street. I think I woke up and checked our deadbolt and chain like 8 times throughout the course of that night. Happy birthday. My girlfriend went out of town for the weekend, so all my friends came over for a night of games and alcohol. A few days later, my significant other opens the oven to make dinner and found a baked cake in it. No dirty dishes, no mess, no explanation whatsoever. To this day none of us know how it got there. It's not a creepy ghost story like some here, but it is the biggest mystery of my life. And no, nobody was drunk enough to forget baking a perfect cake, cleaning the dishes and putting everything away. Dad's sick. 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I was in bed petting my very bossy cat, who had pushed my bedroom open a few minutes prior, when I saw my dad. The entry to the kitchen is just that, an entrance. There is no door. I saw him in his oversized black shorts and miscellaneous old t-shirt cross the kitchen entryway. First I thought, why the hell is he not at work? Then I realized that he wasn't wearing his glasses, which led me to think he must be sick. So I get up and walk into the kitchen to ask him if he is feeling okay. No one was there. No one was home. All the doors were still locked. I wasn't afraid, but turning that corner and expecting to see a person and seeing nothing but a bright empty room was very creepy. Hide and seek when parents are away is not for the faint of heart. When I was around 11 or so, my siblings and I were all playing hide and seek in my house. Now I know under the bed is the first place you always look, but for whatever reason I decided to hide under my little sister's bed in her dark room. So I get down on the floor and squeeze under and wait for the seeker to come looking for me, and as I am laying there waiting, I hear a little girl giggle next to me. I could clearly see I was the only one under the bed and I was the only one in the room, and I shot out from under the bed and told everyone what happened, and that was the end of the game. On the bright side, at least it was a friendly ghost. My sister was home alone and I was out at the mall with a friend. I called her to ask what t-shirt she wanted from the store I was at, and she told me she was scared that there was ghost in the house. I asked what happened. She had put a hot pocket in the microwave and gone into her room to change. While she was changing, she heard the microwave go off, signaling that her hot pocket was done. We have a small house. The kitchen and living room are open and connected, and her room opens to the living room. She comes out of her room to grab the hot pocket, but instead of it being in the microwave, it was out on the living room coffee table, all warmed up. If that happened to me while I was alone, I would have been out of there so fast. Don't answer the phone. I spoke to the ghost of my great-grandmother on the telephone. I didn't recognize her voice because she had died over 60 years before I was born, but a very elderly-sounding lady called and calmly told me to tell Essie it is time to come home now. I kept telling her she had the wrong number, but she was adamant that I pass along the message. 2 hours later, my grandmother's carer called and told us that my grandmother Esther had passed away in her sleep. Her mother had died when she was 16, and Essie was my grandmother's childhood nickname. This was 25 years ago, and thinking about it still makes the hair on my neck stand on end. The cabin. I spent 6 months living alone in a cabin near the end of a dirt road in central New Hampshire. Nearest neighbors were a quarter-mile or so up or down the road. It's an area where people definitely keep to themselves. Had all sorts of animal visitors, bears on the porch, you name it, but never random people around. One morning, I went out to my car to go to work. It was spring, and we'd had a late frost. On the rear window of my truck, someone had written, "I watch you," with their finger in the frost. I never had an actual problem in the rest of my time there, but that freaked me out. Babysitting. It was about 9 p.m. and the kids' parents would be getting home in like an hour or so. I had put the kids to bed, so was downstairs by myself watching TV. However, every so often the TV would flicker with static. To be honest, it was starting to scare the crap out of me. It wasn't until the point when I looked up from the TV and out the nearby window when I lost my crap. There wasn't actually anything outside, but it seemed as if it was in the reflection. I saw what looked like a tin man standing not too far from me behind the couch. Needless to say, there wasn't actually anything there when I snapped my head around to look at the spot where it was standing in the reflection. I grabbed all my crap and wanted to get out of that house then and there. Instead, I ran upstairs and actually sat down quietly where the kids were sleeping until the parents got back home. I particularly remember when the parents came home and I had started to leave. I was pulling out of their driveway in my old Ford Laser, and I looked up into the kids' bedroom window. The same reflection I saw earlier was looking back down at me with a hand raised as if waving goodbye. I have never babysat again. Bloody evidence. I'm living in a college apartment with a friend. Quite a while ago I ended up staying there for a weekend by myself, though I had originally planned to head home and work my part-time job as I normally do. Anyway, I was the only one in the house on this particular night when I heard a bang and the sound of wood on wood. Thinking I must have left a window open and it was just the breeze slamming the door in the kitchen or something, I went to go close it, except that door was still open and all the windows were already closed. Now I was a little spooked, but I was determined to find out what could have made that noise so I could calm down, go to bed and laugh about how silly I was for getting scared. But as I was walking back through the hall connecting my room to the kitchen living room, I found it. The thick wooden panel that accessed the attic, which would only be used for maintenance but was connected to all apartments on that floor and the hall outside, had been pulled up. At this point I decided that it would be safer if I just stayed in my room and locked the door until morning. The next morning, of course, I found blood smeared across the top of my door, so that was fun. I know this sounds made up and overdramatic, I 100% agree, but unfortunately there's proof. If you have made it this far, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and comment what you want to see next. Subscribe on YouTube and follow on Rumble so you never miss a video. See you in the next one.